I believe we're in here live for episode number 10. We're in double digits here. Episode number 10, flag
Do you
football tonight.
have it on delay?
What?
No, it'll show up. YouTube is always delayed a little bit.
That's what I'm asking. It's on a delay.
Yeah.
Um,
It'll be delayed there, but you'll see your face any second here, huh? Wow, Jordan wants some NEFL times flip the bird merch. We actually been cooking that up this week with the company, working on some t-shirts. We got some Nike hats coming and some hoodies for the winter. So cheers to that. Hopefully we can get some flip the bird merch in no time.
Yeah.
So episode 10. Cheers. We got Ben, Super Bowl champion, GM. 2 times in this league, right? This is your second year?
You didn't emphasize the first part of that sentence enough.
No, we said that loud enough. So
this episode, by the way, is just about last session. So
specifically the playoffs.
Oh man,
no. But all jokes aside, thanks for coming on, Ben.
Yep.
Thanks for having me. I was surprised when you guys asked me earlier this week.
Why would you be surprised? You're a champion. You got to put some respect on your name.
That is true, but Mike puts enough respect on it for the whole team. So.
Yeah, you guys definitely make it known. Okay, all right.
So let's start it similar to how we started last week. We're gonna go through the games that we had, kind of go over a recap
last week,
what we thought about it. Yep, and then we have a few questions to go over with Ben, and then we can go into next week's games.
All right. Well, let's start it off with NEFL for the first season ever. Traveled to London.
That flight was crazy, dude.
They traveled to London.
You almost got kicked off the plane.
I almost got kicked off the plane. I don't do flights well. I have to drink high noons and get myself right.
I know.
When I'm up in the air, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was fucked up. But anyway,
yeah.
54-30.
Not allowed to fly Delta anymore.
No, you're not. But we won't talk about what went down on that. But,
JetBlue's better anyways. So, all right. But in the London game, it looks like I didn't get the chance to see this one. I was.
You were there early though.
Yeah, but this one was at like 7:30 early, right?
Yeah, it was fucked up.
Yeah.
Respect to anybody who showed up for this game.
It's because we love the game, right? And I respect it too. We had Ghost took care of business there. They were up in the first half, and it looks like they pretty much cruise controlled through that one there. I mean, 54-30, Ghost got the win.
Yep.
First win of the year.
Yep. That's huge.
They're a different team with Junior though, and they haven't had a consistent Junior all year. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they've had a bit of attendance issues. The one time I played them, half their roster was missing.
I think we all picked Ghost last week too.
All right, we'll cash that one in. Collecting. Next game was TD Mafia versus Outsiders, and this is when I showed up. And I mean, obviously it's 24-66. Outsiders got the win, but I do want to give a shout out to TD Mafia because they did not let playing down a man ruin their day. They showed up, they played football, they played hard, and honestly, those guys still had fun. You could literally see it while they were
apparently first play of the game with down a man, they threw a touch like a fucking.
I wasn't there yet, but yeah, I heard about that.
And people must have been looking around like, wait a minute,
yeah,
what the fuck? Coming off that momentum from the week before beating us. So,
yeah. And basically, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Keno is one of the better captains as far as managers, game management, getting people on the same page and being level-headed. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he had them up and ready to play, even though they got crushed. But like most teams would be like, "Oh, we're down a man. Let's not even fucking try." 100%. But Keno's one of the better captains, and so it doesn't surprise me that
none of those guys had their head down at all.
And I was wrong because I went to that first scrimmage and they showed up TD Mafia with like 2 people. And they were like, we don't know what's going on and this and that. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like,
uh-oh.
Yeah, like at the beginning of the season, you can't show up to a scrimmage, but they really are playing well together. And shout out to Keno because he's really rallied those guys together.
Murray always trying to get me hammered on a Wednesday night. Bad kid. Every comment. The only time he comments is he's telling me to chug a high noon. Never, hey Patty, happy Wednesday. Thanks for the show. Just kidding, buddy. He's chug a high noon for you tonight. That's the vibes we need.
So that was a blow, but respectable parties. Outsiders, big way to come out. I mean, regardless of who you're playing, coming off a loss, they dominated. They handled what they should.
Yep, they took care of business. Next game, I believe Wolfpack was definitely missing some guys, right?
Yeah, they were missing, I think, David told me they were
At
missing their first five picks.
That's rough.
That-
So
they-
25-40, I mean,
looks
that's
like-
not a blowout.
No, it's not. I don't know, Ben. I don't know. I'll ask you. What do you think about this revenge team? I can't put my finger on it. I can't figure out if they won, but I can't figure out whether they want to be a good team or a bad team.
So I have them. We're going to get to it in a little bit, so I won't spoil it. But I actually have them in the bottom of my second tier, right up against some teams like us and the Badgers, where you never know what you're going to get, but they're probably a better team than they are a bad team. And as much as Riley hates me for fucking whatever reason, he's the difference maker on that team. When he shows up and plays well, they're gonna play well. And if he shows up and plays badly, then they're gonna play badly. You know, he basically makes or breaks their team, and so it's really on his shoulders.
I agree with that. I think he is the X factor on that team, dude. When he's not there, I don't think they're a very good team, and I know I'm gonna get some heat for that. And I don't mean that they're not a good team. It's just like it's like playing without a Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like the dude is a game manager. He runs a team. He's confident. He's a good team player. And if you don't have him on your team, I don't know what their identity is yet. So I have to see a little bit more of revenge to make an opinion on them. What about you, Pat?
I agree, and just not to cut you off, Pat. Like they're not a team that I want to see in the playoffs. If they get in the playoffs,
Yeah,
I don't want to.
point.
I don't necessarily want to play them.
That's a good point. Riley plays. I mean, I got to play with him in that Blitz tournament, and it was fun. He definitely gets his guys ready to play, and he gets the best out of them. So, I mean, I expect them to be ready. And just like you said, I would imagine them to be one of those teams to watch out for in the playoffs, to maybe snipe out, make a deep run, maybe snipe out, one of these really like a top team or something. Like, I think that's a team to watch out.
They got some playmaker. Camsey, Mr. like and Clock, like they have playmakers, dude. They have playmakers, but I just
Plenty.
like I said, I haven't. They're the most hit or miss team so far.
You think
so
so?
Yeah, so they fall to 3-3. I think Wolfpack now is with that loss. Are they 3-3 as well, or they didn't play a game? So they 3-2, 3-2, I believe.
And what, they have a makeup game, or did they?
They didn't play that game versus Greek gods
Okay.
yet, so that's still to be played. What's up? All right, next Flamin' Hot.
So
versus
this
Honey
is
Badger.
probably the game of the week right here, and I'm actually gonna post a clip maybe after this podcast or
I'm gonna let her up.
or tomorrow. No, she's fine.
Oh.
Just leave it. Or maybe tomorrow. But I have the game-winning overtime touchdown catch by who other than Walter. You know his resume. I'm a little disappointed that he didn't.
Right?
I'm a little disappointed that he didn't fucking Gronk spike that football when he was done with that. He
That was
respectfully
an
shut it in
upset.
his hand. That was a big upset, and I will also say, I mean, they finished the game with 5 players. They played the second half with 5 players. The
Flamin' Hot?
Hot played the second half with 5 players.
They beat Honey Badgers with 5 guys.
Yeah.
For the
So I
second half.
guess there was a little bit of controversy at the end where the overtime rule, usually every league I've played in is you go either defense, offense first. If offense is first, they get to pick whether they go for 1 or 2, and then the other team goes, and then it switches. Then defense goes, you know what I mean, and it keeps going. But I guess Joey's rule is after the first overtime, it's just first person to score. How do you feel about that, Ben? I don't like it. I don't get the point. It's one play. It's not like, it's wasting a ton of time. It's literally one play. I don't agree with that.
So it's essentially the NFL rule, and I don't necessarily like it or agree with it. It's
That's the
actually up for
NFL rule?
vote.
Kind of.
Pretty much for the NFL rule
field
right now is
goals and then that first score or whatever.
if someone scores a touchdown, it's over. But if they kick a field goal, the other team can match or rebuttal, and then if that team kicks a field goal, the next score wins. So it's a little bit different. But it's actually up for vote in the captain's chat right now. And I just go with the college rules. I mean, that's instead of going to the 25, go to the 15. And then after the second successive touchdown, you then have to go for 2. I think that's the fairest way. And that's why everyone loves the college overtime rules. I think it's a no-brainer.
I mean, you can literally do it.
Can happen, so
for time purposes. You could literally just go. Offense is out there first. They go 1 or 2. Okay, and then defense either makes a stop or not, and then alternate. And it's one play. It's you're not wasting a ton of time. Even if you run 8 plays, 9 plays, it's what is that? An extra 10 minutes?
Yeah, I think it's worth getting that rebuttal in there for sure.
Yeah, and especially in this league, I mean, obviously with the increased field size this year, defense is, we're not seeing a lot of these 60 and 70 point scores this year for obvious reasons. But that's not to say that it's not still super easy to march down the field and score. So
Right.
I really think either you need to just play a 10-minute period where like teams can manage the clock and kind of game and strategize, or just go straight college rules where everyone gets the same exact thing, and then it really is the best team and not just some oops, I missed a flag and that's it.
Right. Okay. Shout out to Walter in the chat. He's actually in here live, and he says that he didn't Gronk spike that fucking football because he didn't know that he won the game.
Which is fair because
That's
he probably
totally
was thinking
fair.
then he had to go get a stop. He
Yeah.
was locked in. He was ready for the next play.
I would expect nothing less.
And
than
that was a
Walter.
nasty head top.
That was. I'm gonna post that clip maybe tonight, depending on how many high noons I drink.
Okay. And shout out to Flamin' Hot. I thought their season was done, dude. They beat Cowboy Killers.
Buddy, we got to give a shout out to
Yeah.
Bova because he's been playing like an MVP right now the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
He just won the second half of that
2
football game
wins.
against a great team
They're back in the
with
playoff hunt.
5 guys, buddy. That's impressive.
They're back in the playoff hunt officially.
They're back in the
Yep.
playoff hunt.
Player of the week before, and then this week basically put the team on his back. And I've been saying this since the first week when they fumbled a bunch of times, and then against us. I never thought they were as bad as everyone was ranking them, even though they had a bad record. And as far as I'm concerned, they're the best of the worst and probably near the top of the second tier teams. And if they keep winning, they're not going to be in the play-in tournament. They're going to be in the playoffs. And if they are in the play-in tournament, they would probably be the favorite to win it. And they're definitely not a team that I would want to see at all. They're the scariest bad team in the league. So
Playing
that's just the way
tournament
that I look at it.
lit this season.
What do you think? How many wins it takes to get in the playoffs? I think 5 guarantees you 4. You're a bubble team.
Yeah, five gets you in. I think 4 bubbles. If you win 6, you're going to be in the top half. So
Yeah. I agree with that. Patty, what do you think?
I would agree with him. I think he hit it right on the head there.
Yeah,
I'd say that's
9
pretty
games,
accurate.
5-4, you're in. 4 and 5.
You think 5 wins gets you in?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100% you're in. 100% you're in.
Really?
Because
Some teams have 5 wins already.
I think you're in. I think you guys are already in. I'm just saying. So think about it. The record right now. We're in 9th place, and we're tied with Revenge at 3-3 for that last seed. They're the 10 seed, we're the 9 seed, and then I think that it's going to be. There's 3 teams that are really facing an uphill battle, and that's Cowboy Killers, Wrecking Crew, and Tiger Blood. It's going to take a lot for them to borderline miracle for them to make the playoffs. So you got to think. Then it goes down to there's 4 teams out of the bottom that still aren't going to make it either, and I don't know. I think 4 you're on a bubble, and I think that I think 5 you're in. All right, next game was Wrecking Crew versus Ghost. I ref this game. There was some controversy with me reffing too.
What happened? You made a controversial call?
Not a controversial call. So here's the thing: is that when teams, and this is tough when you only have 2 refs. Is I like to have it where I have the beanbag, I set it,
Sets it.
and then I have to run to the sideline after every play. I have to set it, grab the beanbag, set it, and then run
To
to the sideline so I could check and make sure everyone's lined up.
Okay.
I don't do it behind because if I do it behind, I can't see if people are lined up and I can't see if the quarterback steps over. So the right way to do it is grab the beanbag, run, set it, and then run to
Sprint.
the sidelines. And I am
Sprint.
sprinting. I'm not dilly-dallying. But people are trying to run hurry up. But just like the NFL where the ref has to, when you're in hurry up, the ref has to spot the ball.
Oh, you
there's
didn't get out of the way.
Thankfully for both sides, it happened where they called hike, and I had to blow the play off because I am not set. There's a player offside. There was a pick on one. They end up getting a stop either way. But either way, it was a good-ass game. It was a defensive-ass game.
But controversial because of the referee.
No, it went both. It happened once on both teams.
Okay.
And there was a play where Junior fell down and threw the ball for a touchdown, but his knee touched. Obviously, people aren't going to like it, but the right call.
Murray says you did fine refereeing.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
And I think if I checked with the rule, Bova, if you fall, then you can't get up. It's like
Can't get up. It's the rule. The rule's the rule.
But Ghost won that game, beat Wrecking Crew, and now Ghost is officially in the playoff hunt.
Just like that.
What do you
Just like
think?
that.
What
The
do you
London
think,
game and then
Ben?
traveling back, short week, grabbing a dub.
What do you think about Ghost, Ben?
You know, obviously Jonathan's been working for me for a while, and he's a really good kid, and he's super talented. And him and Junior, it's like Derek Carr and Devontae Adams. It's Tom Brady and Julian Edelman. They have that dynamic where the kind of the Tambo Carter kind of situation where Junior can just throw it to Jonathan, and then they've got a bunch of dogs. They got Jesse, they got Finn. Escaping off the top of my head, they have a super talented roster, and really what's been holding them back is the fact that Junior's been Mud Bowl and this and that and the other, and they haven't had consistent play. And he's the difference maker. Obviously, he's one of the top 10 QBs in the league, and you're basically between a rock and a hard place when you don't have him on the regular basis. And now that he's back and showing, and then additionally, the way that team was constructed, he's the de facto captain. It's not who is the captain of Ghost.
Chris Burns and Junior, I believe, but Junior's the co-captain.
Yeah, so Chris, Chris is great, nice guy and all that, but like Junior's the de facto captain, and if he's not there, it's all hands on, everywhere. There's no concerted effort on one thing. I've streamed a couple of their games, and it's everyone yelling and this, that, and the other, and no one's doing this and that. There's no talk. When they played against outsiders, they couldn't figure out what to do with Carter, and it was like literally just Carter beating them, and they couldn't get together and huddle. And Chris was playing QB, and they had the chance to go up in the outsiders and actually win that game. And obviously, the outsiders are one of the better teams in the league, and they had the worst drive of the entire game. It was a quick 4-and-out. Like they basically stopped them, had the chance to drive down and win the game, and then Campbell wound up beating them by 3 scores because they just imploded. They just don't have that leadership when Junior's not there. With Junior there, I think they're probably a top 8 team.
I agree. They played well. They grinded out, and like I said, they're back in the playoff spot. So, I mean, what else more can you ask? I don't know that they have coming up, but we'll get into that, towards the end of the show. Island Gods versus Blue Storm.
This was a great game.
I was on the Blue Storm train for a couple hours.
No.
I started the ice train.
You started the ice train, and within the same episode, you literally drove the ice train right off the track.
No.
Gave up on them.
No, they stayed on the tracks. The conductor jumped off. The ice train kept going because they won.
The fucking ice train, baby.
I have royalties in that because I created the ice train.
You do.
So you gotta give me some credit for that. I just don't get it. I've been wrong about Blue Storm. I have been wrong about Blue Storm. I mean, every week they find a way to do it. Like they just, I don't know, man. Like you guys just, every single week I pick you guys to lose. One week I picked you guys to win and you did win, but every week besides that I picked you guys to lose and you guys just, what is up with that team?
We're just playing football, baby.
That's it. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I think it's the Amigo, Lamar, and the leadership with veterans like Pat and some of the other players on that team. Keeping Duval showing up and integrated and engaged. Whereas like last year it was you didn't know if he was going to come, but we didn't really have leadership. Derek does a decent job, but I think it's really just the cohesiveness of the team, and you guys continue to play really well and figuring out ways to win. That's not to say that I don't think you guys have issues and don't get too confident, but I do like how you guys constructed your team and you're starting to grow, later in the season.
Yeah, no, I don't. I definitely agree. You know what I mean? We definitely have some points that we can improve on, but I don't think that we're too cocky or anything of that nature. I think we take I think that's why we have 5 wins is because we take every team in front of us very serious, no matter what their record is. And that's what I would say has been my favorite part of this team so far is we have not taken any team we've played, no matter what their record has been, lightly at all. And that's, I think, why we're winning games.
Can I just pause real quick? Lobby in the chat said, Ben will literally say the bottom seed is the best bottom seed team of the league. So he's being a gentleman, but I get what you're saying, Lavi. He's not really calling out anything.
We're gonna get there, Lavi. Don't worry.
Can I also make a very bold public statement? If Blue Storm beats Dream Killers,
Okay, yeah.
I will dress up on the next podcast.
The blue one.
As Tommy the Choo Choo Train and put icicles on it.
I will
come
come dressed as a snowman to the field.
Yeah, if you guys beat Dream Killers, I will dress up as Tommy the Choo Choo Train with icicles on my head, and I will officially be the ice train. Okay.
This is going to be our biggest challenge yet, for sure. We'll talk about that later on in the episode.
You also have to get chicken nuggies before the game. Keep them on the sideline, hidden. Yeah. No one knows you have them. And then when Duvall scores on Charles, he has to take them and do the popcorn thing like Terrell Owens, but with the nuggets.
Yep, I like that. All right, I'd like to real quick just make a statement. Island Gods.
Island Gods. Yeah, let me give him a quick.
Four losses in a row. 3 losses in a row. Where is that team headed?
I think that they can, just like Ghosts, I think they can turn it around. I mean, obviously they haven't been playing a great stretch of football right now, but dude, I mean, again, that was a tough game that we just played against them, and like, we won by multiple scores, but it didn't feel like that during the game at all. Like, I don't know, Jake he seems to, no matter who the guys are that show up, I have to give him a shout out because he has them ready to play and he puts them in the position to play well, no matter who's there. So I think that there's enough time for them to turn their season around for sure.
Okay. All right. Next game was our game, Boom Boom versus Cowboy Killers. Dude, I thought this was going to be, I thought we were going to smoke them, and they just...
So this was the same time as my game, right?
Yeah. We had them smoked, but we did the patented Boom Boom second half collapse.
Which we do I don't know what it is.
We fucking trademarked that chip, I know.
Yeah, so we were up big on them, and then they threw, I think the deciding factor was Haverty and Cheeks throwing the ball. That kid Haverty is a playmaker, dude. That team has so much talent. They just couldn't piece it together this year. But we were up 2 or 3 scores, 2 scores.
It was 26-6 at half, or 28-6 at half.
No, 20 to. We were up 2 scores at half because they scored before half, and then they got ball and scored to make it a 1 point
game. So it was 26-12 then at half.
Yeah, and then they came back, and they actually ended up taking the lead towards the end of the game, forced us to a 4th down, and Sam had a big. I mean, Sam took over during this game. I think he had 3 or 4 touchdowns, but I mean, that Cowboy Killers team, it's going to be the stories of what ifs, unless they get something done in the plan, which I think they can. I think they should throw with Joe, but dude, what they mixed up with Cheeks, I mean, dude, that was deadly. He's a playmaker, dude, in the backfield. He's like Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray. Like, it's hard to pull his flags, and he has a strong arm. So
28-12, they're saying.
So they were down 2 scores, and they came back, took the lead. We got a 4th down conversion, scored with 20 seconds, and that was a good ass game. So Cowboy Killers win that game. They have 2 wins. We have 2 wins. Who knows what happens? Then we're looking at the plan. You know?
How many wins do you guys have this year?
We're 3-3.
3-3.
So
with
we're
a
right
negative
on
40-point differential.
Yeah, so we're right on the bubble right now.
All right.
This was the most surprising game.
Why?
I mean, Tiger Blood just
Tiger Blood versus Dream Killers. Most surprising game. Why?
I guess nobody showed up for Dream Killers and they still won.
Yeah.
You know,
was everybody there for Tiger Blood?
Everyone but Mikey. No Mikey.
Still no.
That's enough. If Dream Killers are missing the amount of guys they were missing,
Tyler Gagne, I think their captain threw, right? What happened?
Tiger Blood should have won this game. They just internally collapsed again, and they also made some really weird decisions at the end of the game. So did Dream Killers made one of the weirdest. You should watch the live. They made one of the weirdest plays at the end of the game that I've ever seen in the NEFL. And but anyways, you guys can go. It was a really weird game.
I mean, I didn't see enough.
I didn't get to see,
but it's like that just kind of sums up Tiger Blood's season, man. If you can't beat their I've never seen Tyler play quarterback, so I don't know how he did, but doesn't seem like that's his first game throwing in the NEFL. Excuse me.
Five tutties.
5 touchdowns. You got pretty much your full team minus Mikey. There's no reason to lose.
Cam says Tyler Gagne QB1 for the rest of the year.
I mean, do you start thinking about QB change? And if Jay obviously wasn't there, he's not big enough of a factor because he still won.
This basically wraps up Tiger Blood's entire season because they were obviously one of the most, like on paper, one of the most talented teams. They obviously can't put it together on the field. So they were running these drag routes with Sarun coming across the middle, and no one was jamming him at the line, and no one was playing up to disrupt it. And Tyler hit Sarun on that same drag or middle zone play probably 20 times. I don't think he actually had 20 catches, but like without going like crazy, that's basically what they did. They just threw the ball to Sarun, and he ran up the sideline every single time. And then Tiger Blood got a really weird end of the game where they actually were able to safety Dream Killers because Dream Killers was on the 1 yard line and decided for some reason to go like NFL, like under the center and snap the ball, and they safetied them. It was really strange because they could have just snapped the ball and thrown it up and run out the clock. And so Tiger Blood actually got a play at the end of the game to win it. And
sounds like it was a complete mess.
And they went for the onside kick. And instead of trying to go do a gadget play where like they throw a 35-yard ball to JJ and hook and ladder or stuff like that, they just threw a regular Hail Mary, which obviously wasn't going to work, and that was the end of the game. But just Tiger Blood just can't get on the same page, and they should have won the game, honestly.
Right. All right, so Tiger Blood's got to look forward to that plan at this point. What do we got next, Patty?
The next one, second page. See what we got here.
Oh, this was the forfeit.
We got a forfeit. Which
was kind of controversial, but people are saying, why can we reschedule a game? Yada
yada.
With Bova, it was a 1 week off thing where the field got fucked up. So
yada.
Let's go into some questions for you, Ben, and some questions that we've already talked about.
Real quick too. Also, everybody, if you can just hit that thumbs up over there real quick, that definitely helps our show quite a bit. But yeah, we'll move the program on. That's it. Just that little thumbs up there. Make sure you're subscribed. Helps us out quite a bit. And now what do we got? We want to ask Ben some questions here.
Yep. So Ben, let's talk about. And you've been in the league since the beginning. You were on Supreme, and then you've been a captain. Won last year. And you were a captain this year. When you won last year, you drafted a championship team. So, what's your thoughts on kind of team chemistry? And I already know the answer to this because I played you long enough. But play with you long enough. Is team chemistry versus talent level when drafting your team? What's more important?
Obviously chemistry. You need talent to win, so you can't have talentless players. But I think that if you were to rank players based on their skill level 1 to 10. And say like a Jay Charles is a 10 or a Deuce is a 10, and this is no slight to Jay Charles because they're probably going to win the championship this year. But like say you have a Deuce is a 10, a Mikey is a 10, JJ is a 10, whatever. I'd rather have 9 guys who are 7s than 2 10s and a bunch of 4s. Not only because if you accumulate that talent together and you add it all up, obviously when you have 9 7s, that's worth more than 2 10s and a bunch of 4s. But
now, Ben, are you talking about women? Or are you talking about players here?
9 7s works for me, buddy. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, like if you have 10s, and this is I'm going to use Tiger Blood as an example. You've got JJ and you've got Mikey. They're both 10 type level players, right? And you've got Eric as your QB, and no slight to Eric, but he's probably a 6, right? I actually think Eric's a better wide receiver than he is a QB. If Eric throws a pick or has a bad game or makes a bad decision and Mikey or JJ are wide open on something and he just missed it, it gets in their head and they start chirping. And then Eric's, personalities, he's going to chirp back and blah, blah, blah. And then before you know it, the team's imploding. I'd rather have people who are more evenly matched. So when someone makes a mistake, they're like, well, if I was doing that, I probably would have made the same mistake. Right. You can't blame each other. There's no finger pointing. And that, I'm not saying that I have all the answers, but there's got to be some sort of ability for everybody to come together and be like, we're all on the same page. Let's all be even keeled with this. And when you have really, really high level talent who might have an ego or might think that they're better than the people they're playing with, or they're better than the league they're in, so on and so forth, you're more likely to implode. Use Drip Check as an example last session. They beat us in the regular season. I honestly thought we probably should have won that regular season game. But they got in our heads, and when we came back in the playoffs, we said we're not going to chirp Drip Check, we're not going to talk, and we got everyone together. And even with elite talent like yourself or Kevin, we were able to keep our heads level and not chirp back, and Drip Check just imploded on themselves because they had elite level talent that couldn't stop yelling at each other, and they were more worried about what the other person was doing on their own team than us beating them. And that I think that's a recipe for winning. And I think that's actually one of the things that makes Jay Charles probably the most elite player in the league. Is he's obviously one of the 5 best players in the league, but he also is super level headed, and he has all his guys on the same page, and he's not pointing fingers and yelling at anybody. You could see it when the Dream Killers were playing without their three best guys, that they were basically channeling Jay Charles' ability to lead the team, and they weren't chirping at each other, and they weren't yelling, and Tyler was leading, they were huddling, and they were slapping their hands coming out of the huddle. Like, they were all on the same team, and that's obviously from Jay's experience and veteran leadership and his ability to keep everybody on the same page, even though he's really good. And I think that's what separates him from some of these other elite talents. And I won't name names, but there's definitely people in this league that I wouldn't want to play with, or I wouldn't draft, just because I don't think that they have that ability to say, my bad, that was my mistake. I'm not going to point fingers at everybody and then make it worse for wear on the team.
Good point. It's a good point. When it comes to, coaching, and this can kind of loop into 2 different things. So, you've gotten a lot of heat as from other people or whatever about not playing as much, but I've always backed you up in the in the sense that, preparation, game plan, substitutions, situational awareness, like talking when, this time management, how much time's on the clock, how much of that other shit minus being the actual on the field with the plays, do you think that's, how important do you think that plays into a game in a draft league or just any flag football? I know it's big in the NFL or college, game planning and everything like that, but how much do you think that plays into this league so far?
I would say session 1 probably not anything. I think session 1 was your definition of background playground football, your turkey bowl type stuff. Like, everyone was just going to go out and throw the ball around or whatever. The talent wasn't as deep or everything, but session 2, and especially now, if you're not game planning or trying to figure out how to eliminate their best players or at least minimize the impact, and you're not trying to coach everybody up or at least slap their asses when they're coming off the field because they did something good, or hold them up when they did something bad. Situational awareness. I know our game when we were against the Cowboy Killers at the end, we needed to score and we only had so much time left. And I made sure that you guys called 2 plays. We called timeout, and I made sure you had 2 plays ready to go, because if the first one didn't work, we weren't going to have enough time, and you were just going to be, running something up. And it seems stupid because it's like, whatever, it's just background football. But at this point now, there's enough talented people where you have to game plan and trying to scheme against some of these people. Like, you can't go against outsiders and just be like, all right, we're just going to whatever with Carter. Like, you got to figure something out with Carter. Otherwise, he's going to kill you. Same thing, if you're playing against Drip Check, what are you going to do with Danny? Danny's, probably not the greatest QB because he has that weird unorthodox delivery, but fucking let him snap the ball to himself and he's going to roll you over. Like, you have to figure out how you're going to, stop that. And if you're not figuring those things out, then you're just going to lose. And what's the point,
Okay. I think that the team that's done that the best, we were the best last session at that. Not to bring up last session, I'm not trying to just like fucking joke around or whatever, but the reason we ended up winning and having a good run is because we adjusted, and it goes back to what you talked about, us like not arguing. So the talent versus chemistry, but the best team I think this session is Dirty Squad, because they're winning games like 28-14 or 29-19, where they're not like they're just like grinding games out. Like the whole Tambo and that offense, I think they only scored once or twice. I think one of
Carter and Check, who's one of the best players in
and
the
that's
league.
game planning, dude. So I think that I always give Ben credit because I've heard people trying to chirp him and say this about, not playing enough and this and that. But like every week, Ben in the chat talking about what we're going to do. And I can only speak on it because he's been on my team. So other teams can obviously have witnessed or they haven't witnessed it. Maybe teams haven't had haven't been blessed to have a team where your captain actually gives a fuck and he's game planning every week. He's saying this is who their guys are, this is what they like to do, this is how we should go about it. And we always, no matter whether we win or lose, we have a game plan for this week. And I think that goes fucking very far.
Yeah.
I know it's just flag football. I know it's fucking, but it's like if you're gonna go there, who wants to go there and fucking lose or like not have a good time? You know what I mean? And especially when people are starting to talk shit now and the forum's lit and fucking this and that. I'm not trying to go there and lose.
Too bad we don't have the pizza game this year. The traditional
Still
pizza
eat
game.
Pizza for that?
Shut up, buddy. Come on.
Yeah, I agree with that, Mike. I mean, that's one of the things I think makes Dirty Squad so tough. I honestly think we should have won that game, and if we had you, we would have won that game. But Dirty Squad, I mean, it's crazy. Obviously, Ricky's probably one of the three best players in that team. When they were playing us, Ricky only played 2 defensive series. He had 2 picks, both series. He picked Sam off, but like, it's crazy. Dirty Squad knows exactly what they're trying to do and how to do it. And if their personnel matches up differently, it's not, okay, we're going to put our best guys in the field. We're going to put them in situations to have them succeed.
And Drip Check does it well too.
Yeah,
Drip Check drafted to their strengths, and they're actually playing to like what their strengths are. But going back, all right. So next question, Patty, what do you think?
So, there's been. What are your thoughts on the changes in the league from session 1 to what it's turned into now? We're in what, session 3 or is this 4?
Session 3.
This is session 3. So, and there's been a lot of growth in those 3 sessions there. What are your thoughts on that, Ben?
Obviously growth is good. I think Joey has some soul searching to do, though, as far as what he wants this league to be. Him and I have had some conversations privately. Obviously, he works for me, so I
How
see
they
him.
gone? What are your thoughts on the changes here? And are you talking specifically like the A-B division, the changing it up to where it's like the guys are like worth like kind of a fantasy football style where you draft them as like an auction style. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, what are your thoughts? We discussed that a little bit in the last episode with the commish.
Yeah. So I talk to him on a regular basis. Obviously, I see him every day. He has some soul searching to do, though, because if he makes too big of changes, he's going to lose basically the core value of why he started in the first place and that whole family feeling. I kind of like where it's at now. I think the talent level is evenly distributed, and I really think that it makes the draft and the people who are picked as captains and their strategy going into the draft super important, because you can see even, based on where teams are and how they're winning and losing and the control, which captains have control over their teams or don't based on their talent level. Ghost is way too talented to be where they are. It's just, Chris was like, I'll do captain, but then he ceded it really to Junior, and then Junior's not there all the time. So, not to pat myself in the back, but I feel like it's to the point now where like captains really matter. You really have to have a hold in your team. But then at the same time, if Joey continues to make it where it's more talented, people like me and other players that don't play a lot will be pushed out, and then you lose that family feel, and then egos come in, and then it's kind of like whatever. So I kind of like where he's extended it out too, but I wouldn't go any further. And then as far as the A-B division, I don't necessarily like that, because I feel like you're going to get people with their feelings hurt and their egos are going to get bruised. How do you really decide who's an A division, who's a B division? And if I had to say, well, expand a little bit more, but kind of stay where you are, I'd probably wind up changing the rules a little bit. I had a suggestion to Joey that if you're really concerned about playing time and it would add a dynamic to the team, to the league, make it where you have to swap 2 guys out every drive, and you have a third like every captain has to have a co-captain, like it's mandatory.
Tough to
It would be
monitor.
tough, but I would rather do something like that than
Me too.
split it up to an A/B division.
Well, so
I
it
would
wouldn't
just
be.
do a smaller roster, and it's just like more
Yeah.
teams.
So if you went,
you got to sign up.
if
You
you went,
got to sign up quick.
if you went 20 teams, the way that I do it, 20 teams, 11 guys on the team, and then every captain has to have a co-captain, like mandatory co-captain. Then when Joey does his weekly assignments, like, okay, this captain is recording or this captain's helping ref or whatever, then he has the co-captains to choose from too. So we would have 40 people who assign to the different games to do stuff. One of those co-captains for every game could be assigned to player spotting. So it's really not that hard to say, okay, those 4 players can't come off the field because those are the guys that you rotated in. And even if you needed a pen and paper to write down the numbers, like number 4, number 8, number 16, and 25 can't come off the field for the next 8 plays, something to make sure that the playing time is more evenly distributed. But if he continues to go with the talent level and keep bringing in mass flag and elite players come in, he's going to push out the players, and a lot of the players that he started it with, it's going to lose the family feel. And I know he doesn't want that. So he's got some soul searching to do. I don't like the AB division thing. But at the same time, it's his league. So, I'll try to hang on as long as I can. But to be honest, I mean, if I wasn't a captain next session and he did AB stuff like that, I might not say like it's worth my time all day Sundays. I'd rather spend Sundays with my son watching football or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right. All right. What do we got next, Pat?
So did you guys trade your pick this session? Like, where was your number 1 pick this year? I want to know.
So we did the second rookie symposium game. Joey did the picks live, like out of a bucket. I actually got pick 15. And if I had pick 15 and Howe was living in Florida, I would have kept pick 15. That's a dangerous pick.
Okay, so you got word that Howe was coming back to Florida, and it changed the dynamic of the draft room for Boom Boom Athletics.
Yeah, well, so I mean, 15 is awesome because you basically guarantee yourself 2 top 20 players, right? And then you sit around and you grab yourself a Lamar Jacobs or somebody like that as a QB in like the 5th or 6th round, and I think you're doing okay for yourself, especially if you have a solid co-captain like I had Emrod. And you also have to like figure out where that co-captain falls. So like, Emrod is a 3rd round pick, but with me having the 15th pick means he's a late 3rd, right, rather than an early 3rd, and that's massive. Talent distribution differently, but I owed it to myself to try to run Boom Boom back.
Yeah,
the draft didn't go as well as I thought it was going to, because I wanted to get Bailey back, I wanted to get Jesse back, I wanted to get Lavi back, I wanted to get majority of the Boom Boom players back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had the 15th pick, and Vigent actually had the 2nd pick, and so that was a weird thing because I was like, oh shit, I know Vigent wanted to bring back Honey Badgers. I was like, how's going to be a Badger? Like, what am I going to do? And so I started game planning, and then Vigent ran over to Danny and was like, hey, I'll trade you my 2nd pick for the 8th pick. And then and he did that like right in front of me. I was like, oh shit. As soon as he did that, I said, there's a possibility for me to move up and get Howe. And at that point, it's, people were saying, oh, you should draft Jay Charles. I wound up trading for the 6th pick, and then I went from the 6th to the 3rd. And people are like, you need to get Jay Charles, and you need to draft Mikey, you need to draft Deuce, or all these people that are available. And going back to the chemistry thing, I knew already having Emrod, myself, and by getting Mike, that 3 core, and then we filled in with Timmons in the 5th round, and started filling in these pieces. That's what mattered to me. You get a bunch of players that are between 6.5 and 9 talent level, and you're gonna have a good team, and it's gonna be fun. And that's really what matters to me.
Yeah, I do think we did that. And the same thing as last year, which is good for playoffs, or if we make playoffs plan or whatever it is. We've lost some games, but we've also haven't argued. We don't yell at each other, which is big. Like same boom boom feel as last session. We get down in games. We've lost games. We've gotten smoked, but even when we lost by 35, 40, 30, whatever it was to TD, like nobody was yelling at each other. And we don't do that. That's the boom boom way. We lose games, or we get down in games, we get up in games and blow leads. But we don't we know how to blow a lead. That's for fucking
and I will say, just like last year, I mean, I don't want to say we're on the same sort of trajectory, but last year, that first week we destroyed I don't remember who we beat, but we beat them by like 50.
Vengeance.
vengeance, right? We beat them by
Yeah.
50, and then
Yeah, they are.
it wasn't until like week 8 we didn't have the whole team. It was that Kevin was missing, or you were in Florida or California, wherever it was. We had players missing every single week, and it's been the same thing this year. I'm not saying that like we're not playing where we should be, but Sam's already QB'd 2 games. You've QB'd a few games. It's been there hasn't been enough cohesiveness throughout the season. So come week 8 or 9, and we can start getting everyone there on the regular basis. Anything's possible. So
I agree. Let's go into those. And I know you had some power rankings, right, Ben? I know we had Dome's power rankings come out, but what do you have? You have it by like a tier base?
yeah, so I kind of think that a lot of the teams in the league are very similar to each other, and I think clear cut. And I said it at the draft. I said Dream Killers were the best team after the draft. I was like, that roster is just disgusting, and they continue to be disgusting. And I really think that unless Jay gets hurt or he has a bad game, I don't see them losing the Super Bowl. I think they're clear cut and ahead of everybody else. So they would be like tier 0 if there was such a thing as tier 0. But then in tier 1, I have Dirty, Drip, and Outsiders. A Drip, obviously, we already talked about with Danny and their talent level and playing well together. Dirty, the same thing. And then Outsiders, I think the veteran leadership at Tambo is just above where like most teams are. And then you have Carter too. He's just filthy. So I have those 4 teams as like tier 0 and then tier 1. Those 4 teams, I think, are the clear-cut best teams in the league. And then a huge grouping in Tier 2, kind of stacked. Blue Storm, Wolfpack, TDM, us, the Badgers, Revenge, and then right on the fringe is Flaming Hot, because they've proven that they can be in Tier 2 and are one of the better teams. They just have kept underperforming. They keep fumbling. They need to fix those issues. So they'd be like at the bottom of the second tier.
That's a tier that anybody can beat anybody on any given day.
Right. And I mean, you look
I
at
agree.
like us and Badgers, they beat us by 1 point after we were up by almost 3 scores. TDM destroyed us, but they just got destroyed. Revenge, we already talked about, basically goes how Riley goes. I think Wolfpack's a really good team, but they need to have all their guys there. Blue Storm, I think, is a really good team. Duval's obviously an X factor, but I think there's still enough things that they're working on to not be
Duval
in that
shows up every week.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
he's
just
saying an X factor. He said
he's there. If you guys
Okay.
like for some
Listen,
reason
don't be getting defensive over here. He said he's an X factor. Like,
I actually have Blue Storm at the top of my second.
Let me. Can we talk about Blue Storm real quick?
Sure.
I think this week, and win or lose, I'm not whether they win or lose. I think this week shows what type of team Blue Storm is. Are they
So if we lose this game, you think that we're just
Did you not just hear what I just said? I said
Well, no,
win
that's
or
what I'm
lose.
asking.
Win or lose. So let's. I just want to pause real quick, and I just want to go into something. Teams, Blue Storm. Okay, so is there a way?
schedule, I think, is what you're looking for?
Yeah.
We'd have to look us up every week, though. That's
Okay, so week 1, you guys beat Flamin' by 1.
Yeah.
Okay, pretty good win. I'll give you that. That Flamin' is it competes with anybody, so I'll give you that. Next week, you guys fucking destroyed
They
Ghost.
didn't have their guys.
Okay, so this is where I'm trying to get at. Okay, so you guys, Wolfpack, you guys got destroyed, but that's okay. All right, so that's just one week. All right, Tiger Blood, bottom tier team. Week 5, Wrecking Crew, bottom tier team. Okay, and then Greek Gods is in the lower half. I'm not hopping on that ice train yet because this is why. I'm gonna explain it. No.
If you guys double Duval, we'll be okay.
The one team you guys have. Oh, I'm sorry. The one team you guys played that was a legitimate contender, they beat you guys pretty bad. I know you guys also didn't have anybody.
We didn't have Duval. We didn't have our starting quarterback.
So I got to take that with a grain of salt. So that's why I'm saying this week I think is the real test of who is Blue Storm. Blue Storm is 5-1. They're obviously a very good team, playoff team. When I say who they are they a Super Bowl contending team? This week shows it. Assuming everybody's there for both teams, you guys are 5-1. This could be the team you face in the Super Bowl. This shows win or lose. If it's a close game, I get it. And you lose still, a lot of respect. But this shows what type of team they are. Are they a legitimate Super Bowl contender? They're a playoff team, you know that. But are they a Super Bowl contender? This week will show up.
I agree with that. Yep.
Okay.
All right, let's get into you want to go into next week's
Yeah, probably next week's matchups, you think?
yeah. All right.
Let's see. I think I got that in here too. Oh, I think
Real
I
quick,
posted last week.
tier 3 is Ghost Island, Tiger Blood, tier 4 is Wrecking Crew and Cowboys.
Oh yeah. So you said the last tier again?
Tier 3 is Ghost, Tiger Blood, and Island Gods. Tier 4 is Wrecking Crew and Cowboys.
I think that's disrespectful for Island Gods.
I do too. I think they fall in. I think they fall into that tier where anybody can beat. I think the Island
they
Gods
can beat
anybody.
any team. Yeah, I think the Island Gods can beat any team.
You're not sold on that, Ben.
Nope.
So if you were playing against the Island Gods first round of the playoffs, you're super confident and going.
Yep.
And
100%. I don't think the Island Gods are a
Not
danger
even
to anybody.
99%. He is 100%.
I'd be
Guaranteed
more.
win.
I have Tiger Blood in tier 3 because if they can get on the same page, they're one of the best 5 teams.
Would you rather
more
play in the first round of the playoffs?
I'd be more
Blood
concerned.
Or
I'd be more concerned about Tiger Blood being in the play-in tournament, winning it, and then having to play them in the first round than I would be with Island Gods. I have Ghost in tier 3 too. Ghost with Junior, if he plays well, is good. Tier 4, I have Wrecking Crew. I think they're done. I don't think their guys are engaged enough. Even with all the talent, I think they're checked out. And then Cowboy Killers, they just get on the fucking same page. So
I think I completely disagree with you, Ben, and respectfully, I think that I respect Jacob Lapointe. He's like me in the sense of like I've turned the ball over too much this year, and he's turned the ball over too much this year. But yeah, I gotta respect him. He's a dude that if you're in the playoffs, you gotta. And I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this comment, and I already know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this comment. But
okay,
you have to respect somebody who's shown that they can get it done when it matters. And I'm not saying that just because we won, but like Jake showed first session, he can win. And
I 100% agree with you that Jacob is a winner.
Oh.
The way that their team is currently put together, they just won't win. They don't utilize their players correctly, and I've seen enough of their video and tape.
I've seen another clip this week of I think it was Nelson when Nelson had the pick 6, and that was I think to seal the game, basically, right, Pat?
We were up multiple scores,
but either way, you look at the guys in the background, and the guys in the background are just walking, and I've seen multiple clips with the Island Gods where they are legitimately walking. On plays, where other people are, that clip with Bailey running back and everybody's just watching him, that's just unexpected. It's unexpected.
Well, and that's basically my point with Island Gods. They're just too inconsistent. And Jacob is a winner. I just don't think. How is Curtis not in top 15 of any of the categories? They're just not utilizing their players properly.
He was. Where's chat? Oh, it's right up here. I'm just blocking the spot out here.
The horny chat.
Use this user in timeout.
Okay. Wow, it's that simple.
Oh, it's only 300 seconds. 1 second, fellas. We're gonna remove hide user on this channel. Sorry about that, fellas. All right, so that pretty much sums up the tiers.
Guy.
Yeah. So let's get into next week's matchup.
And also, thanks for coming ready with those tiers. That was a great little segment there. I like that.
The power rankings can get a little sloppy. So I prefer doing it tiers because really, who's better, Drip Dirty or Dream Killers? Obviously, Dream Killers is probably that best team, but they're all there. You know what I mean? So
I think, I said before, I think Jay Charles, also known as Ray Charles, in the playoffs folds like a cheap suit and they lose. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. And then I believe that we have enough likes in this chat that I have to chug this high noon.
We got 2 left. 1 for you, 1 for me, but you're chugging yours.
Patty, what are you doing for when you get to 300 subscribers? Because you're only 6 away.
I think we're less than
3.
that then.
3 now.
I think we're within 3.
If you guys,
I think some people are engaged here. I know there's 25 people in here, and I would probably guarantee that 25 of you aren't subscribed. You know what I mean?
Get 3 more during the show. You have to shotgun and chug at the same time.
I mean, we'd be out of high noons if I did that, but I'll give it everything I got.
We would be out of high noons.
We would be out of high noons, but Ben,
And he will chug.
I'll give us something. I'll go check my
do
fridge.
a
There's
bong
got to be
rip.
something in there.
Don't do a bong rip.
Water pipe. We're on YouTube.
A
Jay
water.
wants to know where you're shopping for your suits because he doesn't fold in the playoffs.
I'm gonna keep my comments to myself.
I got a big game against Jay this week.
I'm gonna keep my comments to myself, Jay Charles.
Jay.
It's a big game. It's a big
Yeah.
game. All right, let's go into next week's matchup. So first game, we have a couple of my arch nemesis, not really, but a couple teams that have beaten me this year. TD Mafia, and as we always do every week, we assume that both teams are completely full unless we know 100% that they are not. And this week, I think I don't see anything that says that you shouldn't be full. We have Touchdown Mafia versus Honey Badgers. This is going to be a good ass game. Ben, lead the floor, and we need a winner and we need a final score.
So assuming that the whole teams are there, I actually really like the TD Mafia team. They beat Badgers by 8. I think that this is the first week that Jimmy's really exposed that he can't move. TD Mafia sacked you twice, Mike? I think they sacked you twice. That DJ Jordan combo is just super deadly, and I think that they're going to get after Jimmy and create some issues. And I don't think that with even if Chad plays, I know he's hobbled. I just don't think it matters. I think TD Mafia wins by 8.
I think they're saying so. I seen Chad play on last Thursday, but I'm guessing he re-injured himself because I'm hearing he's.
I think he's on like a load management kind of deal.
He's on the low. He's on a minutes restriction.
He's on the load management. He's on the load management.
Ben, I agree with you. I don't. Honey Badgers.
He's recycling at my
have
house.
shown-
What a great kid.
Have shown
Look
that
show him how you folded that up.
you got to recycle
You know.
for generations to come. You got to protect the planet. But anyway, Honey Badgers have taken a little bit of teams are starting to figure out the Honey Badgers a little bit. And coming off a loss to a flaming hot team that only had, I know, controversial overtime, but only had 5 guys. Like, there's no reason for it to even get that far. Their star receiver is out or on a minutes restriction. And TD Mafia, let's pretend both guys are there. They're fighting for a playoff spot. Both these teams are really fighting for a playoff spot at this point. I got Touchdown Mafia by 2.
If everybody shows up and Chad's still hurt, I got Touchdown Mafia winning this game. If everybody shows up by multiple scores, because I don't know, I just see Honey Badger's heads down a little bit, and I see them kind of bickering back and forth with each other. I'm not going to name any names, but we edited some stuff out in your last game. I'll just leave it at that. For you.
Jay Charles just said Ben recycled Mikey this year and is regretting it. We will see, Jay. We will see, Jay.
I will say, so, Mike, you didn't know this, so you were reffing the game during the Hurricane game or whatever it was 2 weeks ago, and we were all standing around. It was all of us, and basically we were in pretty much a full circle, except for there was one spot that wasn't open. It would have been your spot, and Jay walks over. And he just kind of gets in like the circle and he just kind of folds his arms around and he just looks at everybody and goes, "So this is what could have been, huh?" and then he walked away.
Wow.
I mean, he's
Are you not happy on the Dream Killers?
I think that's what it says more, that he wanted to be Boom Boom.
Something.
He wanted to be part of a winning organic culture because Jay obviously doesn't know what it's like to be on an organic team. He GMOs his teams. His teams are all GMO. He doesn't know what it's like to be on until now. They've been winning, but he is, I'm more of like a vegan, non-GMO, organic type of player. I'll play with like the guys I came up with, and Jay's just not that type of player, but it's okay. So let's move on.
Oh, the chat loves that.
They know it's true. I play with my guys, and Jay is more like, he
comes with his guys.
He's the type of guy that, you see in the gym.
We'll take your guys.
He's the type of guy who's in the gym, he's built up, and then he's on Facebook saying I'm natural, and you're like, he's on steroids. It's all right. We know he's on something, but it's okay. All right.
Steroids, it's confirmed.
Yeah. So Wolfpack versus Ghost, 8 a.m. This is I don't want to say a must win You know Ricky's gonna have something to say negative
does.
against me. I don't
He
even
does.
the comments from Ricky are always negative towards me. So we're gonna move past that. Wolfpack versus Ghost. I mean, I think Ghost wants this right now, but I think Wolfpack's hungry after they didn't get to play last week or 2 weeks ago because that whole discrepancy with Island Guards. Then last week
If
they had
everybody
attrition.
shows up on both teams, I think that's going to be a very good game.
I agree. If everyone shows up though, you gotta take it's listen, Jay, it's a figure of speech. I know that went way over your head, but it's a figure of speech. I got Wolfpack in this game. Ghost wants this game, but I think there's just too much talent on Wolfpack. I got Wolfpack by 9. Pat?
I think it's going to be closer than that. I think I'm going to go with Wolfpack by 6.
Okay.
I think it's going to be closer.
What do you think,
Yeah,
Ben?
I have Wolfpack's one of the better teams, but I actually think Junior and everybody come to play, and Wolfpack's winning late. Ghost ties it up. They go to OT, and Ghost wins in OT.
Oh, Ben, I like that.
An OT.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. So, Patty, you said by 6.
6.
I said by 9, and you think an OT win by Ghost.
Yep.
I think I just think there's too much who I gotta give a shout out to is, and I've bashed heads with him before, but at the end of the day, he's my boy, is Jay Kupal. Just because he will actually have same thing about the game planning, like he's in the huddle calling out plays, he's setting lineups, he's coming up with a game plan,
He cares, which is always great to have
that
on your
goes
team.
a fucking mile.
Yeah.
You can have so much talent, but if you have nobody who gives a fuck, you will
Can
win
we
games
talk about
with
Jake
talent.
for a second? Yeah, no,
Oh, yeah. Let's give Jake a shout out.
Jake is amazing, but he needs to get a mean streak. If
What do
I
you
was
mean?
built like that, if I was built like
a
that
chip
kid,
on
I
his
would be
shoulder.
unstoppable. He
You'd be
should
throwing kids into the fucking
just
dirt.
He's
plowing
basically
people.
saying he needs that
He's a
killer
great
instinct.
kid. He's a great
He
kid.
should be fucking scoring.
You want to see him
6
be a
touchdowns
killer on the
week.
football field?
Yeah,
He
he's
should
just saying, you ever seen Dodgeball where that guy, you got to get angry, you got to get mean, and
Yeah.
you got the glasses,
Yeah.
and they just go to his wife, and his wife's with
Yeah.
David Hasselhoff
Yeah.
on the stands. And he sees that, and he gets angry.
Yeah.
Basically, what Ben's saying is Jake got to get that killer edge. I think he has it it's tough in flag, too. It's not like you're tackling people, so it's tough to get fucking angry, but
I think he
know what you
wants
mean.
it as much as anybody in the league.
I do too. But I get what you're saying though. I understand what you're saying. You're saying, that physical. You know who kind of has that is
Physical?
like just that aggression on the
I'll tell you,
field.
the guy on Wrecking Crew.
Which one?
The captain. Is it Gibby?
He has
Yeah,
it.
if
He
you
shot
put
it.
you
He
put
has it.
Gibby's mentality in Jake's body, it would be
You know
unstoppable.
who has it too kind of is Yogi. Yogi
Yep,
will
yep.
just go out and he's like when he's leading that block, you're like it's same with Dome too. It just like when those dudes who like are out there and like looking to fucking throw somebody's dick in the dirt, and he's they're looking
Famous words by Dre from Wrecking
from
Crew.
Dre. I was in Venom's huddle and it was playoffs.
This is one of my favorite flag football
And,
games, honestly.
my first 9-minute
Quick
playoff game, and we were playing ST.
And you guys were like pre-game
ST?
getting hyped up, ready
This
to go.
is like first year J Charles ST, and we were the underdogs, and Dre looked at us all in the huddle.
And what
and
did
he
he say to you
goes,
guys?
I don't care what you're fucking doing, but you better put somebody's fucking dick in the dirt.
Let's go.
And we won that game. We
If
won
Dre
the
said that-
last play of the game.
If
And
Dre-
I was like, all right, I guess it's, you got to look past what the actual phrase is and just, you got to throw somebody's fucking dick in the dirt. And he just basically means you got to play angry. You got to play physical. So, Ben, you're right. You got to have those dudes with that killer edge.
You gotta throw someone's fucking dick in the dirt.
All right, moving forward. So,
Oh, he's
next,
in
and
here.
Dre
Let's
is
go.
in watching. That's
Let's go.
awesome. I
Shout
love
out
this.
to Dre. Let's fucking go.
I'll never forget that line. I will never forget that line.
I'm so happy he's in here and heard that.
So, and we won that playoff game, dude. And I'm gonna say that it was because of
You
that
played a little harder. You gave it a little bit more
We-
because you were trying
line. We
to
played ST.
throw someone's dick into the dirt.
Nobody thought we were gonna beat ST. ST had a play at the end of the game on it was like 4th and 1, and they went incomplete, and we went to the championship. We played you in the championship with Bailey. Dude, we got smoked. or not smoke, but we got handled. But even just to win that game, that was huge. But next game, Dream Killers versus Blue Storm. We've been talking about it all episode. Ben, lead us off. What do you think?
Dream Killers by 15. They neutralized Duval because Jay Charles is just next level, and Blue Storm doesn't have an answer without Duval.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you mean? I don't know.
I'm trying to be humble here.
Oh, just say what's on your mind.
I think that no, I don't want to say what's on my mind.
So now
I
he's
think
gonna
Ben's
pick a-
right. I think Ben's right. We have nothing without Duval. We're a shell of ourselves without Duval, and we're probably gonna get fucking pissed on by Dream Kills this week. That's my prediction.
I need a score.
100-0, Dream Killers.
Okay. That game, Ricky is at 9:10. He asked what time the game was. I think that it's tough, man, because every time I pick against,
Come on, let's hear it.
Okay, I'm off the ice train this week. I'm saying it. I am fucking off the ice train. It's a warm front's coming in. I heard it's gonna be 90 degrees at the field. You're gonna look at Blue Storm players and they're gonna look like they're melted. They're gonna look like they're
Melted ice. We're melted ice.
I'm gonna be calling them melted ice. I have
You're gonna be
dream.
fighting for your life on the field.
I got
next to us,
dream.
buddy.
Yeah, I got dream.
Fighting for
killers.
that playoff spot. Big boom. Fighting for that playoff spot this year.
I'll give you that. That is true. With all
Mention it for everyone watching. Show up early this week.
yeah,
Because with
Yeah,
the thing going on, if you
serious
haven't been
note.
paying attention, you guys got to get there and you got to come down from the 110 bridge. You don't wanna be
I'm
late.
on that side of the bridge, so I'm probably just gonna walk there. I'm like probably like a 15-minute walk. So, but guys, you got to get there early because if you have like an 8 o'clock game, you have to have everything set up because the fucking Bay State Marathon is gonna ruin your day. So if you think you're just gonna wake up and show up to your game, you're gonna really screw your team over if you don't set up. And every captain, if you're watching this, make it very clear. You have to get there fucking early or you're gonna miss the game. It's not like, oh, I can risk it. No. Unless you're on this side of the bridge and you know, the University Ave side of the bridge, the McDonald's on Mammoth Road side, you're not gonna make the game. You know what I mean? That's how you gotta look at it.
Plan to park in that side field or on the field because you're not parking on the street. And if you go by and you don't park, then you're not gonna be able to come back the other way because the other side's closed.
It's a fucking nightmare. My final prediction, by the way, 24-point win by Dream Killers. Dirty Squad versus Cowboy Killers is next, 9-10.
All right. Let's see here.
What do you got? Dirty Squad versus Cowboy Killers. This could get messy.
Dirty Squad. Yeah, I think they're gonna come out. Yeah, I think this one's gonna get messy. I think they're gonna be angry about the results of last week for them.
Forfeit.
And I think they're gonna take it out on the Cowboy Killers. And I got them winning by.
I thought we were gonna too. And we. What did you say the score was? I'm sorry.
I think they're gonna win. I said by multiple scores.
Multiple scores.
Yeah.
I thought the same. I was pissed playing TD Mafia, and it looked like that against Cowboy Killers to start. I was like, you know what, this fucking, we're gonna fucking dominate this team, and we did at first, and then once Cheeks came in and Haverty made, I don't know who shows up though. It's like,
What do you mean Cheeks came in? He took over at quarterback? What happened?
Yeah, he started playing quarterback, and
When they
he
were
didn't
down
and he
and
didn't
they
have
made
any-
a run?
and they didn't have any turnovers with him on there, and we couldn't stop them, to be honest, and they started stopping us. So with that being said, I think Dirty Squad still game plans better, but I think it's, looking at this mid-year, you'd probably say Dirty Squad wins this by 3 or 4 scores. I think they win by, if Cheeks is back there running, that dual QB, I'll respect it. I'll say Dirty Squad by 15 points. Ben,
what do you think?
I think that this game's gonna be a lot closer than you think. Dirty Squad just has a propensity for not running up the score. I don't think their offense is built for running up the score, and I think Cowboy Killers with Haverty and Cheeks, and if Joe doesn't turn the ball over, can keep it close. I still think Dirty wins this game, but I think it's going to be something like 32-27. a lot closer. I think the Cowboy Killers have shown that they're going to play people close. I mean, aside from that drip check game when they got absolutely routed. But I think that they've, with Haverty and Cheeks, and you saw them when they played Flamin' Hot a couple weeks ago. Like, I think when they're all there and they're on the same page, and Dirty doesn't really have that offense to really run up the score. So I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think.
I like that.
I agree. Next game, Pat, 10-20.
Next game, 10-20. We got Wrecking Crew versus Revenge.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of this game. I don't. I fucking.
Ben, I want you to go first in this
Yeah,
game.
me too.
Can you convince us, please?
Okay, so who's played QB for Wrecking Q? You've got Jay Vance.
Jay
Jay's
Vance
been
played
their
against
quarterback.
us, and
He's their
it
quarterback.
was that
played.
windy week and the relocation week, and he played. He played pretty solid
QB
against
last week too.
Right, but is Jay really your best QB option? Then you're taking away one of your best wide receivers. So you've got Jay's played, Vinegro's played. Who's their other QB that's played?
I don't know his name.
Jason, I think.
I don't know his name,
might
but
be Jason.
That's who they were saying at the beginning of the season. Like he was some like D3 QB, and they were you're gonna know his name. But
he has a good arm. It's just I think he hasn't adjusted to fly.
I think they should. Yeah, but like, how else are you going to do that than get your reps in with one of the best players, Jay Vance? Like they should.
It's the same.
Dre solid. Like they have
Cowboy
a lot of
Killers.
veterans on that team.
Cowboy Killers 2 weeks in, they quit quarterbacks.
They should have rode with their guy at quarterback,
Yeah.
I think, and just kept going through the struggles.
I
You know what I
agree,
mean?
man.
You're not going through the struggles. That's part of this league is trying to figure
They
it out.
could have easily set up their team to be like drip check or dirty squad.
Oh God!
You get
back out.
I got it. You can get behind. Imagine lead blocking with that dude Gibby, and you get Gibby blocking, you get Vinagro blocking,
Dude, they
you get
play
Vance
so
blocking,
physical.
and you give the ball to Dre. It's
They
like
play
they don't do that enough. They don't do the screens and the short shit enough.
Bailey loves it.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they don't play to their strengths enough, and that's why they're a bottom tier team so far. It's not because of talent. It's just they haven't adjusted. I agree with you, Pat. They should have stuck with that kid.
Stick with them and try to grow through these pain
And
points.
even he don't even got to. They throw the ball downfield way too much too. I think they have so much power and size and speed where they could have easily just dinked and dived. That's how we won last year. Not to go back to last year again. I know we'll get shit, but we never threw the ball deep. We just fucking dinked and dived and like just blocked and make people miss flags.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to pull that fucking captain Gibby. Who wants to pull his fucking flag? Not me. You know what I mean?
No one's trying to pull his or Vinegro's flag. I think that
Even Jay
Wrecking Crew-
Vance too.
Yeah, I think Wrecking Crew is probably the better team if you were to measure every player individually. I just don't. I think, like I said earlier, they've checked out. I don't think that they have any reason to come and show up and try to figure it out. They're already 0-6, they're 0-5 or whatever they are, and they're already going to be in the play-in tournament. And I don't think that those guys having everything else going on in their lives really necessarily give a shit, like to try.
Disagree. That is where I completely disagree. And the reason for that is that they were 0-5 this week, and Jay Vance, Mark Perry, there was a lot of guys on that team that were just still in the huddle. They're 0-5, dude. It's hard to show up where you're 0-5 and trying to win games. And Mark Perry, Jay Vance, all those dudes, Vinagro, all those dudes are still cheering each other on. Dre, all those dudes are still like, hey, let's win this game, guys. Nobody, surprisingly, being 0-6, those teams still at halftime, they huddle. Before the game, they huddle. So I do disagree with you on that, Ben. I think they're going to show up same way. They're looking to get a win. They know where they're at in this season. They don't care. They play the game still. I got to give them credit, dude, because they actually they still play as a team. Bailey said new spaghetti arm. That's why sticks to 60.
Who's he calling spaghetti arm?
He's talking to me, but the problem with with Bailey is every time I threw him the ball, he dropped it. So it's like. No, I still love him.
Hold on. We have a current reenactment of Bailey catching a football.
Right through his hand. So
Oh no!
he could chirp. I love him still. Super Bowl.
He's a champion.
He's a champ. So
He's a
I can't.
champ.
That's my boy. I don't know.
I think Revenge wins the game by like a touchdown.
Okay.
I think Riley's the difference. I think Riley shows up with them 3-3, really pushing to get them.
I got
not
revenge.
into the play-in tournament and just shows up and wins the game with a touchdown.
I think I got revenge.
I think this is. I respect Revenge too because they after week 1 getting smoked and I didn't see it. Now I'm like, I think this is a pick 'em. I'm gonna give Wrecking Crew. I think we're just Wrecking Crew by 1 point or in overtime.
I like that. All right.
Just because I think Wrecking Crews do, and they play with together every week, regardless of the score. So,
Next game, we got what is it? Flamin' Hot Immortals here and Outsiders.
yep. What do you think?
Flamin' Hot Immortals are flaming hot right now. They've been they're on a nice little win streak right now. Bova's playing fucking great right now.
I don't know now.
And then Outsiders have just been solid all year long. So I don't know.
I mean, you got to pick a score. Shoot.
All right. I'm going to go with Outsiders in this game. I think that Carter, Tambo, and the rest of their team are just going to find ways. I think that they're going to.
Is Torelli hurt?
No, full. We always, unless we know.
Yeah, but he's been hurt for a couple weeks, so.
No, we don't do that. We don't do this over here.
Either way, I think the Outsiders cool off Flamin' Hot Immortals this week, and I think it's.
Yeah, I told you there's a heat front coming in though.
There's a heat.
So it's gonna be hot for your game, and then once it rises, the cold is gonna settle in.
That's what you think too?
I think Outsiders.
I got Outsiders by 10.
Outsiders
10.
Wow.
We both got Outsiders. Ben, you said wow. So what's your initial reaction on that? Are we disrespecting Flamin' Hot?
Well, no, I just like I said earlier, I think Flamin' Hot, like even from the beginning of the season, they've been unlucky. You know, Scott was fumbling the ball away, and I mean they basically barely lost to us, and they barely lost another game. I think it was Joey said at one point the first 4 games they had like something like 27 combined drops, and they lost the 4 games by a combined 8 points. And they played some good teams. So if Flaming Hot has their whole team, which I know attendance issues have been a massive problem for them, I think they win. If they don't, then they lose. But assuming, like you guys said, everybody, I think Joey comes with an answer for Carter. I don't think Scarelli's the difference maker. I think Tambo throws a few more picks because I know the week before last he was his first picks. I think Flaming Hot picks him off. Scott has a good secondary game with Joey doing some of those double passes, and Flaming Hot wins by like 4.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So you have 2 upsets. You have Ghost and you have Outsiders losing as well.
And yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I disagree with that one.
I disagree with that as well, but I've been wrong on the show before.
Yep.
Especially with Blue Storm. Island Gods versus Tiger Blood.
Wow. I got Island Gods winning this game, no problem.
I agree. The Tiger Blood, man. It's gonna be the season like
Preparation. It's a long game.
The season of what
and
ifs.
Island Gods fucking grind. It doesn't matter who shows up. I just played them, and they were missing guys, important guys on their team. And Jake just slows the game down, huddle up every play. I don't know. I got Island Gods winning this game.
Ben?
So I saw JJ's look in his eyes last week when he came in and take over QB. He also dominated that game defensively.
Wait, is he QB?
JJ's a side.
I
didn't see any of their game.
Had a nasty pick. I think that they fucked up on their onside kick and not throwing like a hook and ladder and trying to give JJ a chance to get it in.
What point did they give JJ the quarterback role? Was it at the beginning of the game or was this an adjustment in the game?
Last 2 drives, basically, they had a 4-and-out or 3-and-out, and they brought him in, and he marched him down the field twice. He was finding Ant on a couple big plays, and of course they were pitching it back to him. That gives him the dynamic to run the ball. Yeah. I wasn't super impressed with JJ as a QB in session 2, but I think that team was less talented than this team, so he didn't really have as many offensive weapons to throw to. I know because a little birdie told me, I might have talked to the captain, that I think they're planning on switching to JJ as QB for the whole game for this week.
Why not, right? Like, if you're getting ready for the plan.
And JJ,
if that's the case, he's going to give the Island Gods problems, man.
Yeah, so even without Mikey last week, JJ had that look in his eye. He dominated defensively. He dominated at QB, and the whole time he was engaged. So assuming that they go with JJ for the whole game at QB, and bonus if Mikey shows up, I think Tiger Blood actually wins this game, and the gods fucking, have their fucking dogs between their legs walking off the field.
Wow.
So how does he do a QB with two of the top defenders in the league playing? So I'm assuming he's talking about Curtis and who is the other? Jay, if you can elaborate on
Who
that.
else, Jay? It's obviously Curtis, and who else?
Unless he's talking about something else, but I just or Elliot. Maybe he's talking about Elliot Island. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but Elliott's fine, but what I mean, I don't know. He's not going to cover Mikey if Mikey's there.
So I mean, I don't know who he's talking. We'll go back to it, but all right. The next game is last game. Talking about me and Keel missing. I don't know what he means by that. But we got Drip Check.
Because they've got what?
Talking about
Oh, because him and they last week they didn't have Jay or Keo, the Dream Killers,
and they still lost. So I mean, you want to get down? Listen, you got to make a decision here. Whoa!
We're all fucked up. Can anybody hear me right now?
Should be good. Hold up.
Can you hear us, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're back. Sorry.
Yep.
Last game of the day. This is a big one, dude.
Boom Boom versus Drip Check. Okay. Okay.
Go ahead, Pat. I know you got a little something to say.
No, I'd like to go last. I want to have. I got the pleasure of having two Boom Boom guys on this episode, so I kind of want to hear their prediction before I fucking make mine. And I am ready to.
I don't think anybody thinks we can win this game, which is
No one thinks you can win this game.
We're an underdog in this game, I would say, right?
Yeah.
I think that's when we
underdogs.
I think that's when we play our best.
Okay,
dude.
Ben's ready for the floor. Let's give it.
It sucks is we never in the playoffs. Jay was to go back to what Jay was talking about. He's saying he looked good, but he didn't play a team. He played a team basically that had two of their top defensive players missing, which he's right. So we'll see. This will be a real test. I mean, Island Gods gets it done defensively. They've just had trouble. It sounds like turning the ball over. But going back to our game, I think that when we are doubted, like we were in the playoffs, is when we play our best. It's going to be fucking tough. It's going to be a physical game. They're going to run. I think I can't pick us to lose. So if we win, it's going to be boom, boom. Wins by 2. Boom, boom by 2 with the upset. Ben?
I think we're going to have a little chatty chat this week come Friday or Saturday, and we're going to get all prepared. We're going to be on the same page. I think that
so you're not on the same page right now.
I think Drip Check has some infighting. There was some Drip Check hate on the side of the TDM game a couple weeks ago towards us, towards these.
There was a lot of hate in that game.
Yeah, it's people that weren't even on TDM, on Drip Check, different things. I think we'll be ready to go. If we win the game, it's going to be in boom boom fashion, which is probably super, super close. Last possession wins. I'm obviously going to pick us because I think that last week it was a close game, but we were missing arguably our best player, best offensive player in Jack. And we're going to have a full squad this week, so I think we win by 5.
5. Okay, so I think I do agree with you guys in the sense of it's going to be a close game. But I think Drip Check's going to win this one by 1 score. I think it's going to be a close game.
Respect that.
But I think like with Deuce,
it's a lot of star power, dude.
Yeah, and I think they're going to find a way to just squeak by and win this game.
I respect.
I think they're going to show that they're you know what I mean. I think this is going to be a big win for them. You guys are the defending champs, and I think they're going to play like that. I think they're going to treat you guys like you're the defending champs, and I think they want to beat you guys.
Jay says Mike Howe leads boom boom to a 12-point loss.
That's good.
See, and guess who's immediately reacts? Guess who?
Ricky loved it. I kind of love that too.
Ricky, you are almost
just drove
boom,
the
boom.
ice train off the track. So
I'm glad Ricky is.
I need a Drip Check
because
he
was.
I want
Ricky, if Nico hadn't fallen in the second round, you would have been on boom boom this year, sir.
Oh, here we go. If I was available in the 10th round, Ben, would you pick me? If it was in the 10th round,
Don't get going on this.
Would you pick me if I was available in the 10th round, Ben?
I would have picked you if you were available in the 4th round. I had to, Mike. It was a
I
fucking.
couldn't hear you.
Hey, tell him what he said. Ben, say what you're just about to say.
I had to.
home with
If you were available in the 4th round, because we
No,
obviously didn't have a third rounder.
third. No, was it? Oh, it might have been.
No,
fourth.
we
I
didn't
don't
have
know
a
when it
third.
was. I
we
wanted.
didn't
I
have-
voted. I vouched for you, and
You did. We didn't have a third rounder.
He
So
doesn't
if
believe
you,
Drip Check's gonna beat your ass this week.
if you were available in the 4th round, we were taking you.
Okay. He doesn't believe me. That car ride home was fucking. I almost walked home instead. But anyway, so that's it for the predictions. So to end the show, we're gonna end it how we ended it last week. Ben, I want your MVP so far, and then if outside of Boom Boom, so you can't pick Boom Boom, who's your championship matchup? And let's go one further. Regular season MVP, and what's your playoff MVP, your Super Bowl MVP?
So Jay Charles, obviously regular season playoff, and I don't even think it's really that close. That just showed last week when he wasn't there. They almost lost to Tiger Blood. It wouldn't surprise me that he's also the playoff MVP. But you know, there's lots of different people that could be that person, whether it be Deuce or Yogi. You know, even someone like Tambo or Carter, if someone makes an upset. So for my regular season MVP would definitely be Jay Charles, and it's honestly not even close. And even if he gets hurt for the rest of the season, you probably still win. And then for Super Bowl matchup, really depends on what shakes down here the rest of the season and what the seeding is. But I probably have something like Dream Killers Wolfpack or Dream Killers Dirty, something like that. So assuming that Dirty stays the number 2 seed, that's probably how it would match up.
Right. Patty just had to step out for a second, but I think I mean I don't think anything's really changed since I talked about it last week. I'm just gonna block this bot, but let me see here. Hide this user on the gym.
It's just following your account, that's all.
I just don't see. I mean, dude, it's just tough, man. Like the biggest thing is that Jay does not turn the ball over. And like that's the biggest thing in this league is like the turnovers. Also, Patty, Jay said that he's going to throw you out the club again on Sunday. Did he throw you out the club once?
Throw me out the club.
Has he body? Scroll down. Patty Ice, I'm going to throw you out the club again on Sunday. Has he?
I don't remember a time ever Jay fucking throwing me out of the club, Jay.
I don't see Jay throwing anybody. Did you toss somebody out the club?
I remember in my mind sacking your ass though on those double shake and bake double passes, buddy. I remember pulling your flag behind the line of scrimmage. That's what I remember.
Jay Charles was the reason Shake and Bake could never win. Well, that's neither here nor.
You know, he doesn't ever mention that huge Raiders upset in the playoffs.
Why would he?
Yeah, why would he?
Why would he mention
Why would he?
blitz? How did you how do you kick anybody out the club if you were playing quarterback, Jay? What are you talking about?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Put the Capri Sun down and fucking relax. So anyway, with that being said, I do think that Dream Killers, nothing has shown me that they won't make the championship, to be honest. I talk a lot of shit, I joke around, but like they haven't lost. I pressed Patty all the way across the field and threw him off the field.
Oh, okay.
Was
that in the playoff game? Was that in the playoff game where the Raiders won?
Yeah.
On Shake and Bake?
I think he woke up. But I'm gonna pick Dream Killers. I'm gonna stick with it. Dream Killers, Dirty Squad, Dream Killers. Super Bowl MVP is Jay Charles. Regular season MVP, Jay Charles.
Is that what we're doing right now? I hate to say it, but I have to fucking pick. This fucking kid's shit talking me right now, Jay Charles, but I have the pleasure of playing him this week, so that's the good news.
And you got to put his dick in the dirt. You got to
You
fucking.
should say
he's
playoff
talking
MVP
like that,
is
so I'm gonna have to end up on the ground this
No,
game.
you can't. You can't talk about
Guaranteed.
your own team. You can't pick your own team.
Yeah,
So,
I
what
wouldn't
do
have
you
won
got?
it anyways. He sucks.
What do you got, Patty?
Which game?
No,
Oh, MVP, unfortunately, Jay.
regular season.
Yeah,
And what about Super Bowl MVP?
Duval.
Okay. All right. All right. That pretty much wraps it up. Any last statements, words, Ben?
You're playing on SPD
For what?
on the 22nd?
I'm playing with SB. That's my tournament team.
What's the 22nd?
ST's holding the tournament. What's wrong with that?
He told me he wasn't available.
No, I said I can't commit because I
No.
don't know my tournament.
You said you weren't
And I-
available, and Boom Boom is taking SPD down.
Do you want to put a bet on it?
You're
What
in
do
the
you wanna bet?
tournament?
What do you want to bet?
I don't want to take money from my
They're in the tournament?
They're in ST's tournament.
Who's your quarterback?
Bova.
Joey.
Oh,
I don't. I'm just telling you. I don't. I think we have too much star power. Cheeks, Jordan, Ricky,
Don't care.
Jake. So what do you want to put?
should we do like
Well,
a
how
little
are you in the
segment
beat-
on
well,
outside of this league here?
Then how are you in the B division if you have so much star
Yeah.
power?
Because it goes down to. This is the funny thing about how everything works out right now
Okay.
is people win these B tournaments, right? And people get mad for them playing in these B tournaments, but it's like, bro, who wants to go up against fucking like if you look at Thursday League and you look at ST, right? It's Duval, Tang, Greg Balamotis, Shannon. They just picked up fucking. Obviously, they have Yogi. They just picked up
Don't you want to beat them?
Joe. They picked up Joe Harris.
I'm trying
They
to
picked-
beat them. I want to beat them.
We are trying in that league, but when it comes to money, it's like, all right, why would you want to play that team? Why donate to them? I get it, but it's like they fucked up.
I hate that attitude.
They fucked that. No, they fucked up. We're still playing. We got our team. They fucked up everything by making that team. They did. They fucked up everything around here because now it's like, I know there's always been good teams, but like, bro, that team is insane.
I think that the Raiders can beat them this year in blitz.
I agree with that.
All right. Well, then what are you bitching about?
But it's we don't have that same. I mean, SPD is we have a good team, but I don't feel like playing cash out. I'd rather play for that 800 and try to win. We need funds.
We need
Bailey Couture, Mike Howe doesn't have a competitive bone in his body. I wish you did during our playoff run too, but it's all right. Thankfully, one of us did.
Tell him, Pat. Let's go. Come on.
Thankfully,
Let's go.
That's right.
Can somebody want to beat the competition around here nowadays? Like, come on. Who
Listen,
cares that, like,
the
nothing would be
official-
better than winning the A division against ST. I would fucking.
Well, ST's
love
not in
that.
their own tournament, and I don't.
Oh, really?
No, but I didn't pick who. I'm not a captain. I don't pick. I just show up and play. But you got to give me credit. I will show up. Whoever we're playing, I've played it. You've seen the teams that I've assembled, and we've beaten athletes. We've beaten ST with fucking pickup teams. So I'm not ducking. I'm not ducking no fucking smoke. I'm just telling you that I show up. I play whoever. I've never put a team in the B division, but I'm gonna play it like it's the championship, and I'm gonna win. I'm trying to win that money. I'm trying to go to Florida and fucking have my house paid for too. Playing in Worlds in Florida, like trying to fucking have my house paid for.
I'll tell you right now, Mike, it's the official announcement. The name of the team is Frankenboom, the best of OG Boom and the best of current Boom coming together. Take us down, SPD.
All right, so do you want to bet on the game? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
what do you want to bet?
I'm not putting 500, even though I think we win this game. But I would hate. I don't want anything. I don't want to.
No,
it's gonna make us be angry at each other. I don't.
I could use a pizza right now.
Anthony and Ben versus Pat and Howe for Fogo.
Wait, what? Say that again?
You get to come, but Mike's got to pay for it, so you're invited. It's the four of us.
Deal.
And then if he win, so if I win, Howe has to pay for it, and if I win,
Deal. This is my ear. No, I'm shaking with him.
Well, no, I'm involved, so I'll shake on behalf of
air shake. This for Fogo.
And I'm just invited.
four of us.
And there has to be at least a Wagyu. So either way, you win because you're going to
Because I'm the
Fogo.
man.
Because you're in, and Anthony wins because he's getting. All right,
he's
so
the man.
SPD. If SPD.
Oh my God, Jay will bet $500. SPD by a lot.
Don't do no more $500 bets, Ben. No, let's not do it.
No, we do. Are you guys gonna bet $500?
No, SPD wins that game. I agree, and I don't mean it disrespectfully, but Ben.
Who's on your team? Who's
Ben,
on Boom Boom?
I hate that you have to.
I know the SPD roster top to bottom. Who's on Boom Boom?
all right, let me pull it up real quick.
Okay, let's pull it
They
up.
do have a good team. They do have a good team.
Let's pull it up.
Hold on, Jackson. Leave me.
Bailey's texting me, but Bailey bailed out of that.
Ricky wants some steak too.
I don't-
Ricky, I
We
would
got-
love it if you were at that table eating steak with me.
I've got
I'm down for Ricky
Joey.
to come.
I've got.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I
Ready?
don't want Ricky there. He's gonna hate on me the whole time.
Are you
Ricky, I
ready?
want you to come through. Yeah, I'm
You
ready,
ready?
Ben.
All
Yep.
right. I got Joey Bova,
Okay.
Michael Rodriguez, Bailey Couture, Brian Timmons, Jonathan Teixeira, Lavi Miaz, Nico, Rocker, Jack, Kelvin, myself, and Anthony.
Good team.
Yeah, I got
It is,
SPD.
but it's just I think we play it. Only the difference is too is we play. SPD has been playing together for
So
fucking years.
that's what I was just gonna say is
played with all
I
these
think
kids for years, dude, years.
well not only that but SPD's already traveled and played in some tournaments, so I just think that their experience outside of the NEFL is gonna show in this game here. That's what I think. Ricky, I want you to come get some steak with me.
And this is and like Jay said, I'm not even Boom Boom is my guys, but it's just this is also a new format. There's no contact. It's 5-man non-contact rush off the line. It's we're used to this format. It might be rush from 7, but either way, it's just it is the same Boom Boom that beat Supreme. I agree, but we're just used to this format. SPD, we played in 4-man and 5-man in Florida, and we were pretty successful. So we'll see what happens. Boba isn't out. So we'll see what happens. We officially made the bet. Folga de Chao was on it. And that's it. Any last statements?
Lavi says Bova is better than Howe.
Boba's definitely outplayed me at times. I don't think there's wrong with saying that.
Who's sure of SPD? Jordan.
Jordan. So, and you know Jordan's resume. So, we'll end it with that. Any other last statements besides you coming at SPD?
No, I'm good. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Ben. We really appreciate it. You were a great guest. You were definitely well prepared, and you were excited to come on here. So we appreciate that. I fucking love that you changed your hat out. You wore a ST hat before the interview, and then you were like, you know what? I'm gonna wear this. No, it was an ST hat.
Yeah, it looks like ST too.
I thought it was ST, and then he changed it to a Raiders hat, so that fired me up. My last take is, if you're not subscribed in here, it would go a long way. If you know,
Please, guys, we're a couple subscribers away from hitting 300 in about 2 months, which is really this page has grown a lot. And it's all with you guys.
Yeah, seriously.
We greatly appreciate it.
It's been fun. It's a different ride.
We made 10 episodes.
We made 10
Last
episodes,
session,
and it
we made
feels
2.
good, buddy. You know.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everybody. We will be back next Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.